Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Whitepaper Sessions series here at Ferrum Network. Please welcome Naiem and Taha. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Excited to be here too.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you guys here because it's not very often that we get to see Taha and Naiem in the same video. I think it's pretty much the first time, but it's a very special occasion because recently we have released our white paper, and we're here to discuss in this episode the core tech behind Ferrum Network. So let's just dive right in. I'm pretty sure the whole community is super excited. But first things first, guys, why did we choose Rust and Substrate framework as the building tools for Ferrum Network? What else is part of the core tech stack?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, I'm definitely very excited to have Naeem here too. He's our co-founder for those of you that are tuning in for the first time and the brains behind Ferrum Network and what we are today. So excited to hear his thoughts on a lot of this. I'll touch a little bit on why we chose this specific framework. So in anything that we do, we have this approach of not just like kind of jumping in and starting to put things out without any research. So we do some R&D to understand what are the problems in the space and then what are the ideal tools to solve that problem. In this case, the community, the availability of pallets and substrate already, and then the approach to be able to contribute pallets to the substrate registry that already exists in somewhat sense, but is continuously being approved, is something that we felt was ideal to build a truly interoperable network that is not only going to provide interoperability in the Polkadot space, but also in the areas of outside of the Polkadot ecosystem, whether it's EVM or non-EVM, because our goal is to connect different layers of blockchains, whether they're in the Polkadot ecosystem, Cosmos ecosystem, EVM or non-EVM ecosystem. Rust itself is a very reliable programming language. This is something that Naeem will comment on a little bit later as well. So Rust was a very strong language to work on to begin with. We felt that it's a language that we want to invest our developer resources in. And then based on the fact that we are building solutions where we want developers to be able to build once and deploy everywhere, we felt this was the right language to build our tooling in, where developers can then in the future build their dApps on the Ferrum network using Rust and the Substrate framework, and then utilizing our tooling, be able to deploy those dApps across multiple integrated chains with a click of a single button or with an execution of a simple CLI command. So those are our reasons. Naeem, if you can quickly hit on why you feel Rust is an up-and-coming language, that what are some of the benefits of Rust versus some of the other languages in the Web3 space, perhaps from your point of view. I think that would be something really cool to hear as well.
Awesome. So in terms of choosing Rust as our main language for the mainnet, if you look at the history of which languages have been heavily used for chain developments, they usually go into like languages like C++, Go, and now Rust is being used. Some chains have been using other things such as Java, but the real value that these set of languages provide compared to older languages such as Java is no need to like easier work of asynchronous programming, no need to rely on threads. And Rust kind of is that kind of the most modern version of this thread of languages in terms of Go with light threads. And C++ obviously is getting less and less used because of how complex and heavy-handed is building anything with C++. And we eventually land down on Rust in our choice for basic core fundamental reasons. That is a very good language. It's very suitable for light threads, and also most importantly, there is a huge library of tools and SDKs and all these things with cryptography already built in Rust. There's a great community. You can reach out on Stack Overflow, or and then on top of all of that, we have Substrate, which is built in Rust. So it just builds on top of each other, and there is absolutely zero doubt for us that this would be the right technology choice for us.
Wow, okay. And Naiem, you've invented this new cool technology called VCPR, which is Value Constrained PoS Rollup. Can you share with us how is this better than typical rollups?
Okay, so in terms of in terms of creating a layer two, so we have been like there are all kind of rollups like optimistic rollups, zero knowledge proof, proof of stake, which was like originally what uh, Polygon was doing. Each one of each one of these methods have pros and cons. Obviously, for Ferrum Network, we are building a true layer multi-chain layer two. So we're building a technology that can build on top of EVM compatible, non-EVM compatible, even things like Algorand, Casper. So we're going to support all these different technologies. So we cannot be very highly tied to the on the capabilities of the underlying system. For example, if we choose zero knowledge proof as for rollup, the ability to build it across multiple chain would be heavily limited. We could only build on top of probably some EVM compatible chains, maybe Polkadot, but others will be extremely limited. So what the most flexible option is proof of stake, but the proof of stake has this problem that the miners and basically entities that mine these blocks do not have any direct relationship with the value that they are validating. So someone can have, like, for example, $1,000 in a stake, but he might be validating something worth $1 million, which is obviously, I don't know what they call it, as moral hazard or something like that. So to solve this problem, we came up with, we've been thinking about what are the approaches that we could use. So we're going forward with an optimistic approach. In an optimistic approach, meaning we trust that miners are mining, and then if something goes wrong, then we go back and punish them or roll back something. That's basically the core idea of any optimistic approach. We're going with an optimistic rollup, and in terms of proof of stake, we're adopting proof of stake for its flexibility and ability to span across chains. But the main problem that is not answered is how we solve this moral hazard between miners and the value they're mining. And for that, we come up with this idea that, okay, so let's say if the miner or a block can be mined once there is enough stake behind it. And for that, we need to know what is the value of the block. So this multi-chain technology has a way to understand what is the value of the block. And it can plug into the existing oracles on the chain on layer one. For example, in Ethereum, you can plug into Uniswap, in PancakeSwap, all these things, and see if what is the real value of the tokens being transferred or a transaction being generated. Also, developers can feed, like the developer can say, okay, this is my value, or we can just estimate it based on the data in the transaction. So basically, we are only enabling the blocks to be mined once there is enough stake behind it. That way, we are removing this moral hazard between miners and the validation, the block validation they're doing.
Okay, I mean, it is complex, it is complex, but thank you so much for explaining this to our community. Now, apart from also just the core tech stack that we have, the white paper also touches on the importance of security, and this has been one of the hottest topics in the blockchain space for a while now. So how do we ensure that the user data, transactions, and all the data is actually kept secure?
Yeah, so security is kind of core to Ferrum Network. Every product we make, every basically decision we make in terms of where we run things, security is number one thing behind it. And that goes back into all the decisions we make, why we go with Substrate, why we go with Polkadot, why we're doing POS, value constraint POS. These are all to ensure that maximal amount of security is as like a state of the art, whatever is available. We want to go one step above that, right? So Polkadot basically takes care of a lot of security issues that we have. Substrate helps us with that. Value constraint proof of stake also gets us one step above any possible technology right now that it just removes a lot of economic. So by an economic design, it removes the ability for the miners to benefit from colluding with each other or messing up with the system. So from a 1,000-foot point of view, this is like the decisions that we made to ensure the security of the transaction and the users, and we want to make sure that stuff that happens on all these multi-chain bridges and everything that happens across chain, pretty much every one of them has been hacked with ridiculous amount of money has been lost. And we are making sure that this is not possible with Ferrum Network.
Yeah, I love that answer because it highlights, Naiem, about our general commitment to excellence when it comes to securing things. Not just taking something as is, like, when you're building a parachain, the understanding is that the relay chain security is already going to provide some level of security for you. But we're not sticking to that, especially understanding that we're building a multi-chain layer on top of that with a quantum portal. So PoS Rollups, as Naiem mentioned, was already available, but with taking the commitment to understand the problems there and then limiting the amounts that can be mined by the value that's actually locked up by the miners who are mining that specific block, it adds an additional layer. And this is something we've implemented when we launched our bridge, and we're implementing in our multi-swap products, and even in our business decision making, we implement the same kind of security first approaches, where security is integrated into the architecture and execution by design, rather than an afterthought or something that's identified in an audit saying, oh, your application is not secure. So we start with that as a core functionality element from the get-go, and then we continue to improve on that as we go through our set of auditors, internal QA auditors. Then we even have a set of white hat hackers that we hire before a product even makes it to beta, who then do penetration testing on our product solutions and technology, and then it makes it out to the public. And then finally, we have a bug bounty program that we have pioneered recently. We're going to start to publicize it even more in Q2, that we further enhance to reward people who might be finding any other vulnerabilities in our solution so that we can quickly address them too. So this is something that throughout Ferrum is a top priority.
Brilliant, thank you. And with everything that we do, we are joining this Polkadot's bet against blockchain maximalism. But what does it actually mean for us? And guys, looking ahead, what do you think, what are Ferrum Network's future plans and goals for the network, for the technology moving forward?
Yeah, I think, look, chain maximalism is something that's, it's been around for a while, and people love to get behind their favorite chain, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to overall grand adoption of Web3 and overall grand adoption of this amazing decentralized technology that we're building that can actually solve real world problems and provide actual use cases that will help people around the world, we don't believe that it's going to be one chain that's going to win it all. There's going to be different chains that come out, and already we can see this use case, that have their own strengths, that are solving their own specific problems. But they face, in many, many cases, a problem with adoption, because either it's too complex to get on there, or they don't have enough hype to build the traction that they need. Maybe there's not enough apps being deployed. Maybe there's not enough projects that are being launched. So what we hope to play is a small role in making all of that easier for the project owners to deploy their ideas, for the developers to deploy their applications, and for the community to take advantage of these products and applications that are being deployed. So hopefully nurturing the ecosystem with a fertilizer of really good technical solutions that allow people to grow their ideas across different chains and build true multi-chain dApps, right? And that's what Ferrum is starting to do. Naiem has done a great job in architecting our quantum portal technology and how it's enabling multi-chain solutions. So maybe Naiem, you can share some insights on your side about how you see Quantum Portal evolving to help people deploy multi-chain dApps, and maybe what that looks like in a few months and few years from now.
Awesome. So Quantum Portal, first and foremost, is a message passing technology. So we are going to, it doesn't know anything about what runs in it. So right now, our effort is to make it really good, bulletproof, and make it work across all the major chains that is possible. And then as we go forward, once we have this first layer, like concrete and solid, we're gonna start focusing on more and more improved developer experience. So Taha had this vision the other day that if one person can maybe want to create a multi-chain app, and there is like a part of it running an Algorand, and they have no idea how to build an Algorand provider. Just open one of these SDKs that Quantum Portal provides, put in an Algorand, and then they just use the Solidity code, and they make their multi-chain application, they pass it on this chain and pass it on that chain. And this can also help going forward. We will potentially help remove adoption barriers for developers on different chains by making it easy to build an application that basically part of it runs on Ferrum Network through Quantum Portal, part of it runs on the target chain, but the developers can just use one technology, one language, one experience, that toolset that they have, and our SDK to very quickly build or port the application to other chains too. So it's very interesting going forward, and we are going to be very developer focused on Quantum Portal front.
Okay, perfect. And I've got one final question. We've discussed this in some of the previous episodes of the Whitepaper series, Whitepaper Sessions series as well. But what can people do? What can highly technical developers, builders, what they can do? How can they participate in what you guys are building here at Ferrum Network?
I think right away, we've launched the documentation to run Ferrum Network nodes. We've launched on a POC testnet. Everybody gets excited about the Arbitrum airdrops that have just happened and the ZK Sync airdrops that have just happened. At some point, Ferrum is going to go live with its mainnet too. And some of the things that we value is contribution and feedback from folks that are getting involved with our network on a technical level. So if you want to learn about running nodes, if you want to give feedback about how our nodes are run, what problems you might be facing, that's very valuable to us right now. So go ahead and look at the repository that's linked below, read that documentation, get a node up and running, and then give us feedback. What's working for you, what's not working for you, and then stay up to date. Subscribe to our repository, star them on GitHub, and watch them for updates. As we put out new releases, update your node and give us more feedback about, again, if you're facing any problems, because it's going to help us build better solutions for the community. And that in turn is going to, of course, help everybody, whether you're a developer, a project that's looking to launch multi-chain dApps, or a community member that just wants to be involved from an investment or a token ownership standpoint level. So all of this kind of starts off with running some of the pieces of technology that we've already put out, and that's going to start with the Ferrum node that we've put out that you can run today.
Brilliant. And guys, all the links are going to be in the description for the white paper, our GitHub, our Telegram, our Discord. All of the links are going to be in the description. Make sure to check them out. And Taha, Naiem, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you here today. I'm pretty sure the community is going to appreciate that a lot. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, for just being here with us, for building such an incredible product, such an incredible platform that is Ferrum Network. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thanks, Tom, for organizing. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.